for the marketed products for the EMA region. Yes. Which reports we need to submit to the EMA for the registered products? We need to report serious, non-serious adverse reaction and also the medicine-related problems. So, what is the criteria for serious adverse reaction? What type of adverse reaction we need to report to the EMA? Yes.
So life-threatening, which is resulting to death.
That comes under serious. What are the criteria for seriousness? To define which criteria defines the serious cases? Yeah. Which criteria defines
hospitalization more than
any noxious or unintended response to a drug, which can either lead to a death, or which can lead to, or which is a life-threatening, or which can lead to initial hospitalization or prolongation of hospitalization. Yeah. Or which can lead to initial hospitalization or prolongation of the hospitalization, then which can
birth defect and
Which can cause
the birth
permanent disability.
or congenital anomaly, or what is the other?
Permanent disability.
Disability, or which are medically significant adverse drug reactions. These are all categorized as serious adverse drug reactions. Right? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so these are the reports we need to be reported as a serious adverse drug reaction. So what is the timeline for reporting adverse drug reactions? Serious adverse drug reactions.
serious 15 days.
15 calendar days. Okay, serious 15 calendar days. And which report we need to submit? We have to report only. We have to submit only the valid reports. How you see validity?
The identifiable patient, suspected drug.
Okay. Identifiable patient, identifiable reporter, suspected drug, and adverse events. Okay. So these are the 4 minimum criteria that will define the validity of the adverse drug reaction. Okay. So while one is the valid report, then if the report meet any criteria such as a serious or non-serious, both has to be reported. Serious to be reported within 15 calendar days, and then non-serious has to be reported within how many days?
90
calendar days. 30 is for Indian regulation.
India.
Yes.
Indian regulations. So these are the reports we need to submit. What about the medicine-related problems? How you will submit the medicine-related problems?
Along with aggregate reports.
Along with the aggregate. This has to be submitted through the aggregate reports. What are aggregate reports? Which aggregate report is applicable for the EMA region?
PBRER.
What is PBRER?
Periodic benefit risk safety evaluation.
Periodic benefit risk evaluation report. Okay. So how often we need to submit this?
Sir, for new product, initial 2 years, after in every 6 months for initial 2 years, then for next 2 years annually, then once in 3 years, and then depending on the request.
For the EMA, we have URD. Have you seen the URD list, European Reference Date PBR list for submission? So it will define in that URD list. Okay. So as per the regulation for the new products, as per the international birth date, 6 monthly for the first 2 years, yearly for the next 2 years, then every 3 years, then the submission may be delayed based on the safety profile of the product, right? So what we discuss as of now, we discussed the Eudravigilance database. Eudravigilance database is for the which region? EMA region. So Eudravigilance database consists of the safety information from which sources?
So solicited and unsolicited both.
Solicited and unsolicited within the European Union or within the European Economic Area region. So for the Eudravigilance database to receive the safety information for a product, the product has to be registered either centrally or nationally by any of the EMA countries, right? So we also discussed about the different section within the EV web trade. So we have the EV web trade to communicate the for it is for the reporting of the adverse drug reactions. Okay, either you can report the adverse drug reaction to the EV web trade or via what? Which is the channel used by the MAH. How the MAH report the safety information to the Eudravigilance database?
Web reporting.
Only web reporting? Web reporting is not for the MAH. They can use, but it is not for the MAH. MAH has Eudravigilance interface. What is that called? How? E2B gateway. We need to establish we need to configure the database, MAH database with the EMA database. We need to have a password. The gateway is the password. We need to configure both the databases to facilitate the reporting of safety information from the MAH database to the Health Authority database, which is the EMA database. Okay. Now null flavors. What do you already mean by null flavor? We also have the null flavor flags, and we discussed these null flavor flags when we discussed the database for case processing. Yes. What do you mean by null flavor? We have different options for the tabs for the information within the databases. One is the null flavor flags. Okay, this null flavor flags is this here. The information is mandatory. Okay, in some situations, though, mandatory data fields might be required to appear empty for a specific reason. Okay, and the ICSR still will be considered as valid even if you leave this space empty, because there should be a valid reason. Okay, the issue of such required empty field is handled through the use of null flavor flags. Okay, these flags allow a mandatory field appear valid and provide the receiver of the ICSR with the reason for the lack of data for that field. Therefore, valid ICSR can be created containing the mandatory fields without actually including the real values in them. Okay, now you understood what is null flavor? Yes, what is null flavor?
So it's a option by which if the MAH fails to enter any mandatory information, still he can submit the report.
So
it's a
giving the
different tab
explanation.
available.
What is that?
Different tabs that are available.
Different? No, null flavor is a specific tabs where the information is mandatory for case processing or for a case to be considered as valid, but still you can skip those with the valid justification, providing the valid justification, and the report will be still considered as valid even if you skip those mandatory fields. That's called null flavor. Okay. Then we have the null flavor may be masked, unknown, but asked but unknown and not asked. You can enter this information for the null flavor flags. Masked means there is information on this item available, but it has not been provided by the sender due to the security, privacy, or other reason. Unknown means you can add unknown when a proper value is applicable but not known. Asked but unknown. So you can add asked but unknown when the information was requested but not received. Okay, then not asked, information was not requested. Okay, you have the different fields to be entered into the database. Okay, we have, as we discussed during the database for the MAH, where we discuss the Tara PV. We have text fields, date fields, drop-down list fields, immediate query fields, checkbox radio button fields, and null flavor flags. Okay, so who will receive the access to this database, Eudravigilance database? Who can receive the access? So the access is being granted for the main for the access for the Eudravigilance is granted into to the user into 6 categories. Okay, the stakeholders being granted access to Eudravigilance can be grouped as follows. Okay, we have the stakeholder group 1, okay, which include the medicine regulatory authorities within the EMA region, the European Commission, and the agencies. Okay, within the EMA region.
Sir, your screen is not visible.
Okay, 1 minute. This doesn't. So we have 6 different types of access, 6 different categories of access to the Eudravigilance database. You can see now.
No, sir.
What are those? No. We have 6 different categories of access for the Eudravigilance database. What are those? Yes, stakeholder group access 1. Okay, this is for the, you can see now, right? The screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay, medicines regulatory authorities in the EEA member states, the European Commission, and the agencies. Okay, this access is only for the regulatory bodies. Then we have the stakeholder group 2 access. Okay, this access is for the healthcare professionals and the consumers, public. Okay, then we have the group 3 access. Group 3 access is for whom? It's for the marketing authorization holders. Then we have the group 4 access. Group 4 access is for the academia, for the institutions. Okay, then we have the group 5 access. Group 5 access is for the WHO, External Monitoring Center. Then we have the group 6 access. Group 6 access for the medicine regulatory authorities outside the EMA, for the third countries. Okay, so level we have different level of access with the different permissions to be provided to the different stakeholder groups. Okay,
ये बोला ना चले मोटरोल पे चेंज झाला ते डायरेक्ट जाऊन आहे बोले बटन बंद डायरेक्ट झाला ते बटन ते बोर्ड गेला तो.
okay, so we have level 1 access is a public set of ICSR data elements with main focus on stakeholder groups 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So different level of access we will be given to the different stakeholder groups. Okay, level 2A, level 2B, level 2C, level 2-3. Okay, level 2A is for the stakeholder group 2 to fulfill their pharmacovigilance obligations, and stakeholder group 4 to directly advance public health and work which is intended to improve procedure for protecting public health. Then level 2B, extended subset of ICSR data elements including case narrative, which main focus on stakeholder group 3 to validate signals. Then level 2C, extended subset of ICSR data elements with main focus on stakeholder group 4, stakeholder group 5 and 6, thus fostering protection to the public health outside the European Economic Area. Okay, then we have the level 3 again, which is for the stakeholder group 1 and group 3. Okay, group 1 is for the EMA health authorities, okay, and also the regional health authority and the regional agencies, and group 3 is for the one minute. There is no battery.